You just learned Claude Code, you started watching some tutorials, you followed along, and maybe even started to build something. And now you're sitting there thinking, okay, what do I actually build that's going to be useful? Because I feel like no one's actually talking about this part, and it's probably the most important aspect, especially when you've learned a new tool that is so useful like Claude Code. You've spent many hours learning a tool that can do so much, but of course it's going to be difficult to just try and come up with an idea randomly because there are so many possibilities that it's hard to narrow down on a specific thing to go and build. Now, a lot of people just hope that an idea can come up. They try to think about different ideas, they research certain trends, and I think that's the wrong way to go about it. Because instead of learning the tool, then trying to build something and then hoping that an idea would come up, you're going about it the wrong way. What you need to do is think about the idea first, but instead of just doing whatever's trending, you need to look at your own problems in your personal or business life and try and solve that first. Because if you think about it, if you have problems in your personal or business life, 99% of the time, there are a lot of other people who have that same issue. So if you look at your own situation and then start to think about what's taking you too much time, too much money, or it's something that is just too repetitive that you know you can probably automate with what you can build in Claude Code, then start to do that first because it'll give you a few different benefits. The first one is it will help you build to solve a certain problem that you know you have, and you can then cater it and build it to exactly the way that you want because no one knows the problem more than you do because you're actually going through it. So you can now start to plug any holes that you might have in this certain issue to try and solve the problem completely. You don't find problems by just staring at the tool. You find them by paying attention to your own friction and the difficulties and challenges that you might be facing at the moment that you know you can do better in by building something specific for that issue. And this is what I'm currently doing as well. So I'll give you an example of what I'm building. So I have existing clients that I work with that I'm helping them with doing their marketing and their growth operating. And I'm now building something for myself that's able to control and manage my client work a lot more effectively in kind of like an all-in-one software tool that I'm going to use internally. And a really effective way that I've been able to do this is I've been able to gather a lot of different meeting notes from my clients, their specific problems, their pain points, the things that I'm trying to do for them to help them solve as well. So I'll list out a very clear direction of what I want inside of Claude Code and then give it as much information as possible so that it's fully aware of the work that you're doing, the clients that you're helping, and the issues and problems that they have that you're trying to help solve. When I've given all that information, it's now being able to build a tool very specific to what I need in order to help my clients at a higher standard and with less friction with an all-in-one platform. Now, what I've been learning by doing this is, first of all, building in phases. That's something I didn't even know, where it's better and more recommended to build in certain phases when you're building a software tool rather than just try to do the whole thing in one hit. So I'm building phase 1 at the moment, which is helping me with like ad structure and copywriting techniques, which is a big part of what I do for my clients. Then the second phase is going to be things like building the dashboard, connecting the different tools and APIs into the software so they can all talk to each other and I can see very clearly all the analytics and metrics that I need to track my clients' data. This is an example of how I've now found a problem with my work and I feel like I was juggling too many different tools at once. And I've been able now to try and build something that's going to help solve the issue and make me work more effectively. Now, there's 4 reasons why doing it this way and building using this specific process is going to help you become someone who's much better at using AI tools like Claude Code. The first one I've already kind of touched on, and it's you know your problems more intimately and more in depth than anyone else. Because you're going through them yourself, you know exactly what the pain points are and what things you would ideally like to solve. The second point is you are the most motivated person to solve that issue right now because, again, back to point 1, you're the one that's going through it. So you have that motivation to try and fix the issue, work more effectively, and see an improvement in your workflow. Because if you're able to then be motivated to solve it for yourself, you will then have more confidence to go and do it for others. The third point is if you build something that fixes a real issue that you have, it will help you understand exactly how things are actually supposed to be built. Just like I've mentioned about me building in phases now, that was something I learned by trying to build this software tool for myself, is you'll start to understand the way things should be built out to have it built at the most effective quality. Because we all know with vibe coding, not everything's at 100% just yet, and you still have to go back and forth a lot. You still have to give it as much beneficial information as possible for it to build at the highest quality it can. And then you will learn how to actually go back and forth with the AI to fix certain bugs, make things not look like the typical AI slop, and how to make things just be effective and work well in a simple but in a very efficient way. And the fourth point is pretty much bringing all of them together is going to help you stand out from the majority of people, because understanding everything we've just spoken about is going to make you be in that top 1 to 10% of people who know how to genuinely build to solve problems and find solutions, rather than someone who's just learning a tool because it's trending, which is what the majority of people are currently doing. And even worse, if you get stuck in tutorial mode for way too long, you need to now apply the knowledge that you've gained. And the best way to do that is to start applying it to your own use. And then you'll have a lot more confidence to go and do it for others. And a very overlooked part is you could actually use what you've built for yourself as an example for when you go and approach potential clients or businesses or people to work with. Whatever you build for yourself, even if it's multiple different things, you can technically use that as examples and proof of work for what you've done. And you don't have to go too complicated with what you're building. An example, if you're someone who is creating content and you like to track things currently in your notes, build some sort of content dashboard tracker that allows to put all in one your ideas, your scripts, thumbnail designs, just something that will be beneficial and make your content creator journey a lot easier. If you build something like that, that's already a step in the right direction. Or if you need to do things like follow up with leads or clients and you maybe aren't always on top of that and you forget sometimes, you can build something like a reminder or something that is automated to be able to do that task for you using some of the skills in Claude Code. So you can start small. You don't have to go full complicated software that does everything, because otherwise you're just going to overwhelm yourself. So start solving a small problem for yourself. And when you do that, you'll be able to then take it step by step and increase your level of how you're actually building and the knowledge you have of how you should approach it. And by solving a small but specific problem, you'll learn a few different things. The first one is what makes a solution actually useful rather than just look technically nice, but it's not actually going to benefit everyone. Because the last thing you want is to build something so complicated and in-depth, but it's not really solving a problem. So if you have a simple solution, but it's very effective, that will always do better than something that just looks technically impressive but doesn't really solve a specific problem. The second thing you will learn is how to actually break a problem down before you start to build. And this is probably the most important aspect. Everyone underestimates how much needs to go into the planning mode before you tell your Claude Code to go and build something. So the more you spend in planning, gathering all the information like I've done, where I gathered all the information about my clients' problems and how I need to solve, their specific pain points and things like that, the more information you feed it, the better it will be from the start to build something that's more effective for you, because you've given it all the relative things it needs to know. Breaking a problem down and really planning it out properly is going to be probably the most effective skill that you can start to gain and improve on by building things for yourself before you build something for others. And it'll help you build things much quicker because you've now started in the right way, rather than started off too messy and then you're having to go work backwards and then go back and forth too often to get what you actually wanted. And this is what I feel is lacking in a lot of tool tutorials. A lot of people just show you the how, but they don't actually teach you the why. You need to understand the why you're building certain things and what you're actually trying to solve. Because the goal isn't to just master Claude Code. Claude Code is just a tool. The goal is to become someone who can identify a problem, break it down clearly, and then bring a solution, no matter what tool you're using. Claude Code is just how you execute and build that solution, but the thinking behind all of it is what actually will make you valuable, because that's going to help you bring that skill set that no one else has around you, stand out from the majority, and actually bring valuable solutions to businesses. So you've heard me talk about all this now, but what should you go and do next? So here's what I suggest. Before you go and find a big idea to build, write down 3 things in your business or your personal life that currently annoy you or take too much time. And just pick the smallest one and then build a solution for it this week. That's it. That's where you should start. Don't overcomplicate it. If you're able to then build a solution for yourself as soon as possible, you will gain the confidence to go and build more things for yourself and then for others. If you'd like to understand more about how to actually think about using AI to benefit yourself and others, and not just tool tutorials, be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, because this is exactly what I talk about on this channel. I help you understand how to implement AI into your business strategy and to actually solve problems for yourself and for other businesses. Yes, tool tutorials are important and I will be having them on this channel, but the way of thinking and how to approach certain things for your business is just as important, if not more important, because tools are going to always change, but the strategy and the thinking behind it will always be the same. And if you'd like me to help you work on your business to try and implement these AI strategies, there'll be a link in the description below and you can click on that and follow the steps. And if we're a good fit to work together, we could see how we could help you in your business. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.